Hello and welcome. I had one of my subscribers ask me about soloing on Donna Lee to get a little bit more into analysis of the song and also the phrasing and how to swing it and all that sort of thing. I've been using a metronome. I'd set the metronome on 2 and 4, so if you're practicing at whatever tempo, you have the 2 and 4 going here. But some of the things going on, if you can get this printed out, either from the real book or from my website, the first chord, it's coming from a song actually called Back Home in Indiana, which goes like this. So that's the first 8 measures of this song, or 7. And so now if you look at the first phrase, you can see that it's targeting into, starting on a major 7th here, but targeting into the flat 7 of the F7 chord here. So first chord, A flat major. So it's got that chromatic approach, which you used a lot of chromatic approach tones to target tones. And then it goes down a scale which looks very much like a 5th mode harmonic minor. So the harmonic minor scale in C, or actually would B flat, would be like that scale there. So it's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, and then natural 7. So now if you play that, the 5th mode means you start on the F and play that scale. So that looks like the next, the phrase coming down here. Like that. Like that. To another target tone of the 3rd of the chord. So a lot of it is approach tones and target tones in 8th note sets. But also what you have going on is a descending line. Now it skips, goes up, and then it skips down to here and then ascends to this target tone, which is on a B flat chord. So it's kind of puts tension on the first beat of the measure, but then it resolves it almost immediately with a little turn into the 5. So sharp 5 and then down to the 3rd. So that chord, the B flat 7, is reinforced. Even though it's starting on a sharp 5, it's reinforced by going to the 5th and then approach tone, target tone, then right up the arpeggio of the chord. 3, 5, 7, 9. So getting those phrases to swing involves being very relaxed and loose and using a metronome. So I might set it at, let's see, well, this is 80 here. So that'd be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm not doing much in the left hand, but I'm trying to get that phrase to swing. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so we'll shut this off for a minute. So that involves being very loose here in the wrist. Also knowing your way around your scales. Knowing what scales you can use. So the harmonic minor, 5th mode harmonic minor, the altered dominant scale, which is this one, half tone, whole tone. That type of thing. So this approach tone, target tone technique is very important to bebop style. And this one, in my book, I talk about all the various ways of approaching a particular tone, but this one approaches the 11th or the 4th of the B flat minor 11. So you find it, that's the chord. So it goes up, half step above. It's very interesting, the bebop technique of approaching the chord tone from either a half step above or half step below, or combinations of those, or 2 half steps above or 2 half steps below. This is a half up above and to a half below and then approaching. Then it goes down to a major 7, even though it's a minor 7 chord, resolves immediately there. And then it does an arpeggio. Up the chord. So that reinforces the chord again by arpeggiating the chord tones of the chord. Down to a flat 9, 9, 6, flat 6. Then that's pretty much the E flat 7. This chord is outlined there. Like that. Now that's an augmented 5th there. sixth, then down here. Continuing, I try to take ideas from Donna Lee and then apply them to melodies that I hear. So I tend to hear things more like in phrases, like distinct phrases like this. Like first chord is A flat major going to C minor 7 flat 5 F7 then to B flat. So I hear this phrase, targeting like that and then targeting like this. So it's like phrases that target into target tones. They move into target tones by way of arpeggiated movement, by way of skips and stepwise motion and chromatic motion, particularly like from above or below chromatically. Like that was one of the phrases that Charlie Parker used, the approach tones he used. Then he went up the arpeggio to a target in there. So target, then the chord, arpeggiated targeting there. Then moving through dissonant non-target tones, eventually getting to a target tone there, and then another one here, so that there's enough target tones in there and approach tones to balance everything out. And a lot of wave-like movement. What I mean is ascending, then descend, balancing ascending with descending, and balancing arpeggios with scales or with chromatic movement. All that mixture, all put together, like, you know. As an example, if I took my own ideas, I might go. You have to have a sense of melody, but you're also using a technique that involves these devices of knowing your scales, knowing what scales you can use, knowing the arpeggio of the chord that you're playing, and knowing how to target into specific target tones on strong beats. Like beat 1 is very strong. So you want to target in on beat 1 most of the time. Like that, then like that, and you put it together. There's a target. There's a target. There's a target. Another target. There's a target. Target. Even target there, I targeted into the flat 5, but it come right off it. Back into the 5. Everything has to be very loose up here. You know, you can't be too tight or too tight in the wrist. You want to be all very loose. So this all flows, and the metronome will help to keep you steady. So like if I'm soloing like this, I like to think more in groups of phrases that connect, and using the target tone and the approach tone idea as being paramount, even more so than modes or scales, but you need to know the scales as well. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up now, but I want to just review that these various devices I'm using, such as sequences and such as the motive and like chromatic approaches and scalar movement, ascending, descending, all that is all important. It's all outlined in my book if you want to get into it deeper, which is on my website. So if you have questions, let me know and I'll go into more detail for you. See you next time.